And there's a guy in the studio right now that certainly remembers where he was that day, and that is Don Bacso. Hey, Don, how are you?
Good morning, Jim.
Is your mic on?
Let me check.
Yeah, there you go. Otherwise, that would be called being deload. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, it should be on. No.
How's your earphone level? That looking good too?
Sounds good. Sounds really good.
Don, you grew up here in Hammond, right?
Yep. I'm a region rat.
And you went to Hammond Morton back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Grew up.
I had the unfortunate experience of hanging out with a number of Hammond Morton people last night at the Beatles Fest at Wicker Park.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's go to Morton, you're a region rat. There's no way around it. But you live in Dyer now, right?
Yeah, I live in Dyer. Always lived here in Northwest Indiana.
Yeah, what do you do?
I work for a large financial firm in Chicago as an IT systems engineer.
Okay. What were you doing on September 11th of 2001?
Back then, I was a consultant. Yeah, I was a computer consultant. So I was on a 1-week assignment from here. I was living in Dyer at the time, and I hopped aboard a plane on Monday morning, September 10th, and flew out there for a 1-week assignment. And I was supposed to come back on Friday, September 14th.
And so you get there on what day of week was Sep 11? That was
like a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So you get there on a Monday.
Got there on a Monday.
Check into a hotel.
Yep, about 3.5 blocks from the trade centers.
From the trade center. So you get up on Sep 11, have a little breakfast.
Yep, got up actually a little bit early. Usually when I'm out of town, I go in a little bit later because you can work later. There's really nothing to do. So some reason that morning, woke up early, and I was in the tower by 7:45 a.m.
Did you walk over there?
Yeah, I walked about. It was a beautiful morning. I remember getting out of the hotel and walking that 3.5 blocks over to the World Trade Center from my hotel. It was just a beautiful morning, and all the food vendors were out there on the street and everything.
It was I remember it was beautiful here in Chicago too.
Yeah.
I was in downtown Chicago at the time, but it was as pristine. I mean, there wasn't even any clouds anywhere almost in the whole country.
Exactly.
And if I remember correctly, just hearing people say, "Oh yeah, it was one of the most beautiful days ever in New York."
Oh yeah.
And so you're walking over there. Had you been to the World Trade Center before?
Yes, I'd been there in months past. I'd been there because this was an ongoing project. So I might have been in there in May for a week, and maybe in June for a week, and then there was a lull, and then they brought me back in September for that week.
And then so you get over there at 7:45ish.
7:45ish, yeah, walking in. And when I went in, I went through the mall. There was a mall underneath, and that's how I got in that morning. It's funny because you're walking towards all the people, and the people are coming out of the train station there that was in the mall of the World Trade Center.
And so what transpires?
I was like I said, took my elevator up to my floor on the 57th floor. I was in an interior room, sort of like this, with a bunch of servers and everything, just working away, and right about 8:45, 8:46, I felt the impact, and then the explosion just ripped right through the building. I mean, it ripped. You could just feel it coming down, just rippling through the building. And then when you're in a server room, the racks start to shake and things like that start to happen. Monitors are flickering on and off, and at that point, I was just wondering what's going on, because it was a pretty large explosion. At what point it scared me was when the building started to sway, because the building was hit so high, it started to sway, pretty severely to the south, and then it came back and, swayed to the north. So that was the point that really scared me.
So to just go through the chronology, then you would have been on the first explosion.
The first building.
The first building, the first building that was hit in the 80-some floor? Or
90, I think it went in at 92, and
92.
it took out 92 through like 96.
92 through 96, and that would have been at around 8:50 local time there?
Yeah, about 8:45 to 8:50 right now.
8:50 local time. So you're sitting in a server room, so, much like the room we're in here.
Yeah.
I mean, servers need to be protected, and when you're doing radio, you don't really want you lose sound also. So we're kind of in a similar situation. But so were you in the room alone or what?
Exactly. I was in there early. I was alone. So once that building started swaying, went to the south, came to the north, I said to myself, I got to get out of here. I got to find a stairwell. So I ran out in the hallway. I saw about 3 or 4 other people. Asked them what's going on. Did anybody know what's going on? Nobody knew what was going on. We ran to a window because we saw something going by. So we ran to the window, one of the windows, and you could just see, it was like paper mache. It's like confetti just coming down all around us. Then I looked, pressed myself against the window. I looked up, and I could see the smoke above. Then I realized, okay, we got hit by something. And you think about it, there's a lot of air traffic in Manhattan. There's helicopters, there's small planes, private planes. And I thought, okay, maybe a helicopter hit us. Maybe a small plane hit us on accident. So immediately I looked at those 4 other people. I said, let's get to a stairwell. Where's the stairwell? They said, right down the hall here. So from the time of impact to the time we got in that stairwell, no more than 4 or 5 minutes. And as soon as I opened that door, there were just people streaming down from above. So, and I was talking to them as we were going on the stairs. Where did it hit? What hit? They said, we don't know, but it was above us. And it was something large. So that was, like I said, into the stairwell about 8:50, and I would say it probably took about 40 minutes to get down. It was very slow going down the stairs.
Very slow.
Yeah, people are coming in on every floor. You're helping people out that, some of the women are having asthma attacks, or people are having asthma attacks. You get some sprinklers that are on, from the impact. It just set off sprinklers in the stairwell. So it was very slow going, very slow.
So you get into this stairwell. It wasn't panic, though.
No, it was not panic. That's the best part of it. Nobody was panicking at all. I think if we really knew what was going on that morning, I think there would have been panic.
All right, so that's a long way.
Yeah.
57 flights.
57 flights of stairs.
So how long does it take you to get down?
Probably about 40 minutes.
About 40
about
minutes.
40 minutes by the time I got to the ground level where I could see, where the door was open and I could see the plaza. And that was the first time I was able to stand in the lobby since that morning, early that morning when I got in, and see the plaza. And the plaza was just covered with debris. There was concrete, there was metal, there was everything out there in the plaza. So they were taking us down through the mall. We had to go down an escalator, and then there was a mall there underneath the plaza, a bunch of shops, food, boutiques, things like that. And I remember the firemen and the police, Port Authority police and New York police standing on both sides of us going, run to the other side of the mall.
So, Don, let's go back to this. So, you get hit around it's Eastern time. It's 8:50, and you're going down the stairwells, not pandemonium, but just a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you get down on ground level. Then what happens?
Get to ground level. I actually went down into below the plaza. It was a mall. And I actually came out of the ground about a block away from, came up an escalator and came out of the ground about a block away from the World Trade Center complex on Vesey Street by St. Paul's Cathedral. And that was the first time I got to turn around and look and see what was going on.
And what did you see?
The top third of my building's completely black. About half of the second tower is black. Just rolling smoke, just rolling up the side of it, black smoke. Just, against the perfectly blue sky. Here's that black, acrid smoke just rolling up the building. And then debris was out as far as I was. There was drywall, paper, things burning out at least about a block from the World Trade Center towers itself.
So could you smell it?
You couldn't. Inside the building, yeah. I didn't really smell it outside because the wind was, blowing it up and blowing it away. But, inside the building, when I was in the stairwell, I could smell jet fuel. I was wondering why I was smelling jet fuel, Yeah, when the buildings collapse, that concrete dust, you smell that. That's something you don't get out of your mind.
And you are a region rat.
Yeah.
Because, most people in New York, they're like, well, what's that smell? It smells like gas. No, that's jet fuel. I could tell the difference.
Yeah.
And you could tell the difference when they're working on jet fuel over here at the Cat Cracker and BP, and when they're when they're working on the lesser grades.
Oh, yeah.
And you also know the smell of concrete.
Oh, yeah, the concrete dust, yeah.
Yeah, the concrete dust has a specific smell that if you live around here, you know what that smells like.
Oh, yeah.
So where were you when the second tower was hit?
The second tower, I was still in the stairwell coming down.
You were still in the stairwell?
Yeah, we felt that impact, too, coming down the stairwell. We were going down very slowly, and then we were down no more than 10 or 15 floors, and then boom, there was another concussion of our building, shook. At that point, some of the women started crying in the stairwell, screaming and crying because they thought it was our building again. I thought it was our building again. I thought something was going on, but actually, that was the second plane impacting the building next to us.
What floor were you on about when that hit the second building?
Probably between 40 and 44.
Oh, so you were still way up there.
Yeah, I was still up there.
You had just gotten into the stairwell then.
Yeah, I was probably down no more than 10 or 12 floors.
Ryan, can you look up when the length of time between the first and the second building? I want to say it was like around 20 minutes, something like that. Or
Yeah, I think the first one was hit at 8:46. The second one was hit at 9:03.
Okay, so
Approximately 9:03.
right around 19 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so just, I mean, you look around, when you hear that second jolt, you're saying
Yeah.
a lot of women are crying?
Yeah, a lot of women were crying in the stairwell. You know, you could tell it was a little bit more anxious in the stairwell. Everybody stopped walking. You know, when that concussion, you felt that concussion, everybody stopped. But all it took was one person behind us, maybe half a floor up, just said go, and it started everybody walking again. It was just that jolt. You know, somebody had to get us going again because everybody just stopped and was waiting and anticipating, you know, like something's going to happen.
Okay, now you're coming down the stairwells. Obviously, your building has been hit, and the building next to you has been hit. At any point, did you see any firefighters or police on the scene? Or
Yeah, firefighters, about the 21st floor when I was coming down. The door was open, you know, over to the side. They were standing, or actually sitting there resting inside the stairwell right off the 21st floor. There was like 2 or 3 of them. And I remember I walked in, and I said to them, hey, there's a lady, you know, up about a flight of stairs. She's off to the side. She's having problems breathing. She's having problems coming down. Can you guys help her out? The guy says, no problem, sir. We got it covered. I mean, he was just very direct, calm, but just very direct. Like, we got it, sir. No problem. We got it covered.
so they were going up?
They were going up. They were just taking a rest. They had all their gear, you know, laying off to the side, and they were just taking a rest, somewhere around 20 or 21.
Do you remember what they looked like?
Yeah, I remember that. That bothered me. That bothered me for a long time, for like 6 months, because I saw their faces. One guy, you know, he could have passed for my brother, you know. He looked a lot like
Just another white region looking dude, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Another white region looking
Alright,
dude, you know.
You get out, you take the underground. Even now, a lot of these buildings are connected on an underground basis.
Yes.
So you go over by St. Paul's Cathedral, which is very old.
Yeah.
And you get out onto the up, you know, you're outside all of
Yeah.
a sudden.
Yeah.
And what do you see? What happens then?
Yeah, like I said, I tried to grab a police officer, ask him what's going on, because I didn't know what's going on. He didn't know. He just got there. I'm walking down the street trying to find my hotel. You know, I'm heading east, and you know, I'm hearing it on radios, car radios and stuff, and people are standing around. You know, like first plane impacted Tower 1, second plane impacted Tower 2, and I'm like, what is going on here? You know, and then they're talking terrorist attack. I'm like, this can't be happening. And by the time I got to my hotel, it was about 3.5 blocks away. They had a TV on in the lobby. And, you know, and then they showed that, you know, the second plane. They kept repeating that, showing that coming into the second building. And then I knew that we were under attack.
6:58 in the Calumet region. If you guys want to ask Don a question, or you want to talk to him, or you want to share your experience, I'll open the phone lines now, 219-845-1100, 219-845-1100. So you get back to the hotel then. I mean,
Yeah.
how does that unfold for a while?
Well, I wasn't in the hotel more than 5 minutes, and in the lobby, and you could feel the ground starting to shake. And that was the second tower starting to collapse. And you could see it on the TV. You know, you could see it, you know, angle, and then start to drop straight down. And then it was just a dust cloud. That came by next. That cloud of dust, debris, concrete, everything, you know, and there's that perfectly blue day, and then it goes black. I mean, pitch black.
Even where you were that far away?
3.5 blocks away, it was pitch black. And people that were standing there watching the events unfold at Ground Zero are now diving into our hotel and trying to get out of that dust and debris cloud because they were standing around watching. So we were pulling people into the lobby to get them out of that dust and debris cloud.
And were you able to breathe okay inside the lobby because of the filtration system and so forth?
Yeah, the lobby was okay. You know, once you're outside, and I was outside afterwards, after they both collapsed, and I had to walk to get out of Lower Manhattan. I had to walk to North Midtown Manhattan. You're inhaling that dust because the next day, I remember taking a shower, blowing my nose, and it was black when I blew my nose into Kleenex, and I had to do it quite a few times before there wasn't any, you know, black soot.
So at some point you decided to start walking away from the situation, and you're there. You're a consultant. You're there alone, right?
I was there by myself, but also 2 other women were there from my Chicago office. I ran into them. Remarkably, I ran into them on the street after I got out of the towers, and we walked back to my hotel. So we
get
could
your
try to
phone
make
calls in right now. Let's go to Phil on line 1. Hey, Phil, you're on the air. What's up?
Hi, great show this morning. Don, you know, in your life, this this just has to leave an effect on you. What reevaluations did you have about the direction of your life after that?
That's a very good question. I came back, and you do a lot of soul searching, after that, and you come back to your home, and you see your family, and you see your children. At the time, my one son, my oldest son, was 1.5 years, almost 2, and my wife was 5 months pregnant with my second son at the time. So you do a lot of soul searching. You ask yourself, hey, do I want to do this anymore? Do I really want to consult? Do I want to be consultant? Do I want to travel around the country and be away from my family? And, I made a lot of decisions to that effect is, try to be home by 5 o'clock, not work as many extra hours, and be home to see my family and, and just enjoy your family. I mean, that's the biggest thing I could emphasize for people is just, really enjoy your family and keep the ones you love close to you.
Don, just to follow up on that, there's been a lot of, actually a lot of documentaries and articles written about folks that were there that escaped as you did, and probably not a moment too soon. In the time, say the year right after that, was there any feelings of? I think some folks bring up, in some of the interviews that I've seen, that the kind of like the guilt. Why did I get out and others didn't?
Yeah.
And then just kind of almost a PTSD type of situation. And that year following that, go back to that time.
That you hit it nail right on the head. Is you go through all these emotions. I went through, the anger at first is how could they do this, and how could they, just attack us with our own planes. You go through that anger. And then, like you said, you go through the guilt. There's those different emotions. You go through the guilt that, why am I here? Why did I survive? What's in the future for me? I'm here for a reason. I was able to get out. So, there's a bigger purpose for me on this earth.